Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are staying safe during this pandemic and taking care of yourselves. So today's topic is recommended by one of my Instagram followers, Elaf Hafiz, so thank you. And I'll be talking about how to become the best version of yourself. So I want to start this topic by saying that there is no end point, or at least I feel like it shouldn't be approached as an end point. And again, in general, like most of the topics that I do talk about are just kind of my takes on how I would approach them. I'm not saying that they are fact, and there's many different ways to approach all of these topics. This is just my input, and I hope that my input can help you guys achieve what you want to achieve. So, for me, when I think of becoming the best version of myself, I try to think of it as there is no end point. There is no once I get here, everything is settled and I'm going to be great. Like, no. For me, that's not how it works. For me, it's about being a student of life. It's about knowing that there's always something to learn, there's always something to improve on. And that for me is actually very calming in a way, and it's soothing, and it's nice because I know that I can't ever be perfect, and that's okay because perfection is something that I feel like doesn't exist. And I feel like if you always just try to chase perfection, you kind of lose yourself in getting to an end point and not truly enjoying the process of getting, not just getting to where you want to be, but acquiring skills, acquiring knowledge. That's where, for me, the true gold is. And so for me, I always strive for growth as a person and, continuing to educate myself. And by educating myself, I don't necessarily mean like, reading a book, but just educating myself in the sense that learning around me, learning from the people around me, learning from the events that happen to me, and trying to take what I will from it. So, like I said, we are not perfect and we never will be perfect, and that's perfectly fine. Just because we can't ever be perfect doesn't mean we can't be amazing people and be the best people we can be. And with that being said, also, I think it's good to think of it as a process. Becoming the best version of yourself is a continuous process. It's not a process just for 5 years or 10 years, it's a lifelong process. And therefore, we need to fall in love with the process, not just the results. And of course, there's going to be times when we don't have our shit together and we've hit rock bottom and we know it. We feel it. We just know that I'm not at the full potential I could be at. So when we feel like we're in a situation like that, we need to evaluate how we got to that situation in the first place and how we're going to get out of it. Because as hard as it seems during that time when we're at rock bottom and we feel like, wow, I can never get out of this, this sucks, and I'm always going to be like this, that is not true. You can change your circumstances, and you can change your mindset. Well, mindset is very important first. First, you need to change your mindset, and then I feel like only when you change your mindset can you change your situation and how you're going to get out of your situation. So understand that you're not going to have the stamina to go from 0 to 100 the next day. You're not. You might have all these grand plans like, oh yeah, I'm going to start working out for this many hours and I'm going to get my finances together and everything's like, I'm just going to do it all starting tomorrow. And while that's a great, mindset to have, realize that you're not going to have the mental, maybe physical, all of those capabilities that you think you're going to have right away. Like I said, it's a process and it's going to take time to build yourself up to that. So I would say that you need to make tangible goals for yourself and your progress because that way it can actually be sustainable. You want sustainability. You don't want just kind of a crash diet type thing. And actually that's why, I'm just going to take like diets and fitness as an example, but that's why crash diets don't work. These people who are selling things like Fit Tea and, drink this liquid diet for like a month and all the weight will go off. Yeah, that's because that only works for a month. Do you think anyone wants to be drinking just liquids for the rest of their life? I sure don't. I like food. I like chewing my food. I enjoy tasting my food. And that's the thing. you want sustainability. If you're going to, for example, like live a healthy lifestyle, you want to figure out how you're going to cook healthy recipes, how you're going to work out, how you're going to build a lifestyle for yourself where you actually enjoy your food and still get to enjoy your junk food in moderation, not just a crash diet that isn't sustainable. So make tangible goals for yourself and your progress, and also realize that sometimes you might feel like, oh, I can only do this much. You can do more than you think you can, and you should try to, push yourself a little bit past your limits, but you need to do that gradually. You don't want to push yourself past a limit so soon that you start burning out, because then you're not going to be motivated to continue your progress anymore, and you're just going to feel, just demotivated, and you're going to want to give up. So start pushing yourself past your limits little by little, but realize that, you need to build yourself up to that. You can't just go from 0 to 100 right away. And then you also might have like many areas of your life that you want to improve, and you can go about 2 ways of doing this. Maybe you want to focus on a couple of things, like 3 to 5 things that you really want to fix right now, and those are the most important things for you, and so you can dedicate more time to those every day. Or if you have like more than 5 things that you want to change that are going on in your life, then you can maybe focus a little less time on those every day. But either way, make some sort of an investment towards, bettering your life. And it can even be like 5 or 10 minutes a day, and you can slowly work yourself up to, maybe more. Like maybe 1 week you work 5 to 10 minutes on these certain goals, and the next week you start working 20 minutes, and then after that 40 minutes, stuff like that. And realize that also you're not going to feel motivated 100% of the time to do all the things you said you're going to do. And I've experienced this myself, when you start wanting to change something, like, yeah, I'm so motivated, like I'm going to be so amazing, and I'm going to have all the energy and all the focus. And that like maybe works for like the first week, but then sometimes, you start getting demotivated. You're like, oh wow, here we go again, like the same schedule again. And yeah, you're not going to feel like it all the time. You aren't going to want to do certain things, but you're going to have to push through those things. Nothing that is worth having in your life comes easy. And this is where grit is more important than motivation. Grit will always get you through everything. If you build up your resilience, if you build up your grit, you can get through anything. So when you are struggling, when you are in this phase of struggling, don't have pity for yourself. Don't feel like, oh, I'm the only one that's struggling. I'm the only one that's suffering. See it as an opportunity to build your grit, because grit is what is one of the most essential things in life. It can help you get through anything. And also don't feel like you have to be at a certain point by a certain time. And I think, we're surrounded by all these images of success. We see successful people, famous people, and we're like, wow, they're so successful and they have it all. But that's 10, maybe 5 or 10% of their life that we're seeing. We're not seeing the other 90% that's, spent toiling, crying, struggling. We all do that. We all really do that. And like, for example, like when we see an actor, for example, win an Oscar or something, like I'm going to take Joaquin Phoenix from The Joker, for example. He won the Oscar this year and everyone's like, wow, amazing. And we might see that and we'd be like, wow, like that's so great. His life is so great. But like during the shooting, he struggled a lot. He had to lose 52 pounds for his role and maintain that during the whole shooting, which isn't easy. He couldn't eat properly. He had to portray a character that was very mentally damaged, and that can like take a toll on your mental health as well. So it's not all easy. But again, he did it. He proved it. And we might not have seen that 90% of the behind the scenes of him struggling, with not being able to eat or, struggling with getting into the character. But that was necessary for him to get his award and get the recognition that he deserves. So along with that, when it comes to, grit and motivation, surround yourself with the right people and find mentors. Learn and read about your goals. Do your research. That's very important. There's no point in working hard if you don't have some sort of a plan. And I'm not saying you have to have it 100% figured out, but you need to at least have some idea of where you want to go or how you're going to approach your goals. If you have no sort of a roadmap for yourself, you're just going to get lost and all the effort you put in is just going to go to waste. And actually, Alaf wanted me to talk about one more thing too in relation to becoming the best version of yourself, and that is, since I'm talking about, surrounding yourself with the right people, he also wanted me to talk about how to attract people, how to make people like you. And I understand why, I think we all want to be liked by people to some degree. But I want to say that that shouldn't be your primary motivation at this point, or really like your primary motivation in general. Because if you start making decisions only based off of pleasing people, you're never going to know what you truly want. And you need to center yourself. You need to know where you want to go first before you kind of get other people involved in the picture. And I say this because when you start centering your life and your decisions around other people and what they want for you, you don't realize who you are. You don't realize what you stand for. You don't realize what your purpose is. And those are very important things always. Because, like, no matter what life throws at you, if you have a concept of yourself and who you are, you won't be shaken by things that happen to you. And that's why I say that know yourself first, work on your goals first, do this journey for yourself first. And if you focus on what you want out of life, what you stand for in life, you will automatically attract the right people and the right attention for you. If you start by seeking people and seeking attention first, that's not going to stay permanent. The only thing that will stay permanent is you and how you behave towards yourself and what you have planned for yourself. So focus on that first rather than focusing on attracting people first. And most likely you won't even notice it, but you will already start attracting the right people and the right attention for you and your life. And then last but not least, I want to say, once you have reached a point where you're not at rock bottom anymore and you feel like you're starting to feel okay and you're like, okay, everything's starting to make sense now, celebrate it. It's not easy to get to that point, so do celebrate it, but then keep going. Don't be like, okay, this is the end, I have it all. Because any amount of success has to be maintained. It's not something that once you get success, it stays and you don't have to put work towards it. You still have to keep putting in the work. And if you want to if you want to keep growing, you have to put in more work or you have to explore more avenues. And I say this because everything in life, maybe it sounds a little bit depressing, but I promise I don't mean to say this to sound depressing, but nothing in life is really certain. No plans, no success is even certain. So we are surrounded by uncertainty, and this pandemic has proved that to us now more than ever. We will always be surrounded by uncertainty. So it is up to us to decide if we're going to let the uncertainty trample us or if we're going to change and adapt. And in order to change and adapt, like I mentioned previously, you need that resilience, you need that grit. And that's something that you should always be striving towards. Don't feel like grit is something that should be looked down upon, or like, oh, working hard is something that should be looked down upon, or it means that, you don't know, you're not smart or anything. No, smart people do work hard. They just work hard intelligently. They don't work hard aimlessly. So do work hard, but understand how you're going to channel your energy productively and efficiently so you can get to where you want to be and you can adapt to situations around you, because life throws a lot of things at us. And we might not be 100% prepared all the time, but I feel like if we have that resilience and that grit, we can change and adapt. And instead of seeing that uncertainty as something that is frightening, we can see it as something that's actually going to help us. So do continue to, work towards your goal, maintain your goals, build up that resilience, and maintain it and make it even better. So I hope this message helped y'all. And if you did like this message, then please like this video, do share, and do subscribe. And I would really appreciate all of that. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.